Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going deep on a topic that hits close to home for a lot of people, IVF. And, the mystery of why implantation fails sometimes.
Right.
And so today we're really going beyond the basics. Think of this as your shortcut to getting really smart about all those factors that can really make or break IVF success, even when everything looks good, on paper.
Absolutely. And we're going to be drawing from an essay called The Journey to Successful IVF, Understanding and Overcoming Implantation Failures, which takes this really fascinating look at an integrative approach to IVF.
Okay.
So we'll be talking about things like acupuncture and herbal medicine and how those can be integrated with Western medicine.
It's easy to think that IVF is just about, getting a healthy embryo.
Right.
But this essay really reveals just how much more intricate the whole journey to a successful pregnancy is. It's kind of like, baking a cake. You need the right ingredients, but you also need the right oven temperature, the right baking time, even the right kind of pan to get that perfect result.
And this essay points to some of the really important factors that are often overlooked.
Oh, like what?
Like sperm DNA fragmentation.
Okay.
The impact of lingering inflammation. Even things like the molecular structure of the endometrial lining, which is really fascinating.
Okay, so the lining matters a lot.
It does. It does.
So much more than we think is going on.
Yeah, it's not just about thickness.
Right.
There's so much more to it.
Okay, well, let's back up for a second, because I think a lot of people listening probably think, you just get the healthy embryo, that's it, you're good to go.
Right.
So why does IVF fail even when embryos have the correct number of chromosomes?
So even embryos that are considered euploid, meaning they have the right number of chromosomes, they're not all created equal. They can have differences in their cellular structure, their metabolism, and even their developmental potential.
Okay, so I'm getting a little lost in the science here. Can you break that down for me a little bit more?
So imagine you have two cars.
Okay.
And they look identical on the outside, but under the hood, they have completely different engines.
Okay.
One might run perfectly, while the other sputters and stalls.
Okay.
It's the same with embryos.
I see.
Their inner workings can vary wildly.
Gotcha.
And that can impact their ability to implant.
So it's not enough to just look good. It's got to have like a really robust engine to make the journey.
To make that journey to implantation.
Okay, now speaking of the journey, let's talk about the landing site, the endometrial lining.
Yes, the endometrium.
This essay really emphasizes that it's not just about thickness, but that the lining's molecular and structural makeup needs to be just right.
That's exactly right.
So it's more than just having a thick plush carpet for the embryo to settle on.
It's more like a key fitting into a lock. It has to be a perfect match at a molecular level for that embryo to be able to unlock the process of implantation.
Okay, now this is starting to make sense as to why it's so complex.
Yeah.
This is not just a passive process. This is
not at all.
This is an intricate dance.
Yes.
Between the embryo and the lining with lots of molecular cues.
Yeah, all this communication happening back and forth.
Oh.
And sometimes even when you have a perfect embryo and a receptive lining, things can still go wrong.
Oh, no.
And one of the biggest culprits highlighted in this essay is hidden sperm pathology.
Okay.
Particularly sperm DNA fragmentation.
Now, we've talked about this before on the show, but just as a refresher, can you remind me what sperm DNA fragmentation is and why it matters so much?
So think of DNA fragmentation like having tiny nicks or tears in the blueprint of the sperm.
Okay.
So even if the sperm looks normal under a microscope and it swims well, that fragmented DNA can really mess things up.
Okay.
It can lead to problems with embryo development, and it can prevent successful implantation.
So even seemingly healthy sperm can carry these hidden issues.
Yeah, it's like having a scratch on a record.
Oh.
It might look fine, but the music isn't going to play.
Right, it's not going to sound good.
Exactly.
And the thing that's scary is that you said this is often missed.
Yeah, unfortunately, standard semen analysis often misses sperm DNA fragmentation.
So that's why more specialized testing is so crucial.
Absolutely. If you're having trouble conceiving, it's definitely worth looking into.
And it's a reminder that, fertility isn't just a woman's issue.
Right.
Men play a vital role, too.
Absolutely.
But even beyond sperm health, this essay points to other factors that can create kind of a less than ideal environment for implantation, like lingering inflammation, especially in women with endometriosis.
Right. Endometriosis can cause chronic inflammation in the pelvic region, and And that inflammation can interfere with implantation even after you've had surgery to treat the endometriosis.
It's almost like the body's fighting against the pregnancy, even though that's not the intention at all.
Yeah, and in a way, the immune system can sometimes see that embryo as a foreign invader.
Right.
And mount this inflammatory response, making it really hard for the embryo to implant.
Now, are there other conditions besides endometriosis that can trigger this kind of immune response?
Yeah, definitely. So certain autoimmune conditions
Okay.
and even some undiagnosed blood clotting disorders can interfere with implantation
Wow.
and lead to recurrent IVF failures if they're not addressed.
Okay, so we've got this intricate dance between the embryo and the lining.
Right.
We've got potential hidden issues with sperm DNA. And then we've got the added challenge of this lingering inflammation or immune system issues.
Yeah, it's a lot to consider.
It's like a minefield out there.
It can feel that way.
But don't worry, listeners, we're not going to leave you stranded in this minefield.
No, we're not.
The essay offers some really promising solutions,
Yes.
particularly in the realm of integrative medicine.
That's right. And that's what we're going to explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Ooh, I like it.
We're going to take a closer look at how the Berkley Center for Reproductive Wellness in New York City is using a blend of Eastern and Western medicine to overcome these challenges and help couples achieve their dreams of parenthood.
This is fascinating stuff. I can't wait to dive into that after a quick break. So before the break, we were talking about the Berkley Center. I'm really curious about their approach, especially how they integrate acupuncture and herbal medicine, with conventional IVF.
Right.
And I know you mentioned they have this really impressive track record, especially with couples who have had trouble conceiving.
Yes.
So have they observed different kinds of outcomes with this integrative approach?
Well, they've seen some pretty remarkable success.
Like what?
Helping couples achieve pregnancies even after multiple IVF failures. Wow. And a lot of that they attribute to their assessment process, which is a lot more thorough than the standard fertility workup.
Okay, so what kind of things are they looking at that might be missed in a typical evaluation?
So for women, it's not just about checking hormone levels.
Right.
They really look at things like menstrual cycle regularity, pain during periods, any history of conditions like endometriosis, PCOS, fibroids. They even look at things like thyroid function and overall metabolic health.
So it's about the whole picture.
Exactly. It's about seeing the whole person, not just, looking at isolated data points.
Right. And what about for men?
So for men, they take sperm health very seriously.
Okay.
So it's not just the basic semen analysis. They're looking at sperm DNA fragmentation, morphology, motility count.
Wow.
They also consider lifestyle factors that can affect sperm health.
Like what?
Things like diet, stress, exposure to toxins, even excessive heat.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot that can impact sperm.
It's really eye-opening. Okay, so with so many factors to consider, how do they even begin to create a personalized treatment plan?
Right. Well, that's the thing. They believe there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
And so they really tailor each plan, often using a combination of acupuncture, herbal medicine, nutritional counseling, and lifestyle recommendations.
So let's unpack each of those.
Yeah.
Starting with acupuncture. We've talked about its potential benefits.
Yeah.
Can you give me like a specific example of how they might use acupuncture in a treatment plan?
So let's say you have a patient with endometriosis.
Okay.
They might receive acupuncture more frequently in the weeks leading up to embryo transfer
Okay.
to help reduce inflammation and improve blood flow to the uterus.
So it's about timing it?
Exactly. It's all about timing and being strategic.
Wow.
To address the specific challenges.
And what about herbal medicine?
So there are many different herbs that have been shown to have benefits for fertility.
Like what?
So they might use certain herbs to improve ovarian response during IVF stimulation.
Okay.
They might use herbs to address sperm issues like DNA fragmentation. They might use herbs to enhance endometrial receptivity. Some herbs can even help balance hormone levels.
So it sounds like it's really individualized.
Yeah, very much so. It's about finding the right herbal allies.
I love that.
For each person's situation.
Now, how do they make sure those herbs are safe?
Yeah, that's a really important question.
Especially if patients are also taking IVF medications.
Right. Well, safety is paramount at the Berkley Center.
Okay.
They only work with highly qualified and experienced practitioners who have a deep understanding of both herbal medicine and reproductive health.
Okay.
And they really emphasize open communication between the herbalist, the reproductive endocrinologist, and the patient.
So it's a team effort.
It is a team effort.
I love that.
Making sure that everybody's on the same page and the herbs are being used safely and effectively.
Now, what about the nutritional and lifestyle recommendations? What kind of things do they focus on?
So it's really about taking a step back and seeing the whole person.
Right.
So they might recommend dietary changes to support hormonal balance, reduce inflammation, optimize egg and sperm health. They might also suggest stress reduction techniques like yoga, meditation, mindfulness.
Oh, yeah.
And they also emphasize the importance of things like sleep and regular exercise.
Yeah.
It's about creating that fertile foundation.
In all aspects of life.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, because it's not just about achieving pregnancy. It's also about creating a healthy foundation for both parents and for their future child.
That really resonates with me because I know how much stress impacts my own health and well-being.
Absolutely. Stress can really wreak havoc on our bodies, including our reproductive systems.
And they believe that true fertility wellness involves all of these aspects.
Yes, all aspects of a person's well-being.
I love this approach. It's so holistic. It's empowering. But I am curious, how do they make sure this approach works in harmony with the IVF process?
Right.
Do they communicate with the reproductive endocrinologist?
Absolutely. Communication is key. They maintain close communication with the patient's reproductive endocrinologist. They share information about the patient's progress, and they make adjustments to the treatment plan as needed.
So it's a true collaboration.
It is.
You've got Western medicine working together with these ancient healing practices.
Yes.
And their support doesn't end at embryo transfer, right?
No, not at all.
What does that ongoing support look like?
So they might offer acupuncture and herbal treatments to support implantation and early pregnancy.
Okay.
And they also provide emotional support and guidance during that time, which can be very anxiety-provoking.
Yeah. It's nice that they're there for the patient.
Yeah, they really walk alongside their patients.
I love that.
Through the whole journey.
Yeah.
And not just offering medical expertise, but emotional support as well.
Okay, now I'm ready for some success stories.
Okay.
You know, the essay mentioned cases where couples achieved pregnancies even after years of struggling.
Yes.
Can you share some specifics?
So there's one amazing story about a couple who had been trying to conceive for over 5 years.
Wow.
And had experienced multiple failed IVF cycles.
Okay.
The woman had endometriosis, which was creating a hostile environment for implantation. And the man had low sperm count and motility.
So they had a lot of hurdles to overcome.
They did.
What did the Berkley Center do differently for them?
So they started with a comprehensive assessment like they do with all their patients. And they developed a personalized treatment plan.
Okay.
That included acupuncture, herbal medicine, and dietary changes.
Okay.
For the woman, the focus was on reducing inflammation, improving blood flow to the uterus.
Okay.
And for the man, they really focused on improving sperm quality and increasing sperm count.
And did it work?
It did. After several months, the woman's endometriosis symptoms improved significantly.
Wow.
Her reproductive hormones were more balanced. The man's sperm count and motility also increased dramatically. And amazingly, they were able to conceive naturally.
Wow, without IVF.
Without even needing another round of IVF.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really a testament to the power of this holistic approach.
It really is.
You know, sometimes it's not just about the embryo itself.
Right.
It's about creating the right environment.
For conception.
Exactly.
And implantation.
Yes.
Wow. And I know this isn't an isolated case.
No, not at all.
They've had many success stories, right?
Yes, they have.
Involving women of advanced maternal age who were told their only option was donor eggs.
Right.
There's one story that I read that I thought was really inspiring. A 42-year-old woman who was determined to conceive with her own eggs.
Yeah.
And she had been told by multiple specialists that it wasn't possible.
It's so disheartening.
It is. So she sought a second opinion from the Berkley Center.
Good for her.
And what did they recommend for her?
Well, they took a step back and they really addressed her underlying health concerns.
Okay.
She had some hormonal imbalances.
Sure.
She was dealing with a lot of stress.
Right.
So they worked with her to improve her diet.
Okay.
Manage her stress levels, create a more balanced lifestyle. And they also used acupuncture and herbal medicine to improve her egg quality.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they empowered her.
They did.
To take control of her health and her fertility.
Exactly.
And what happened?
Well, after 6 months of this holistic treatment, She was able to conceive naturally.
No way.
And went on to have a healthy pregnancy and delivery.
That is incredible.
It is.
That challenges the notion that age is like the only factor.
Yeah, it's not the only factor.
There's so much more going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they recognize that and address it.
Yeah, they see the whole person.
I love it. And I know they've also had a lot of success with couples with unexplained infertility who have, gone through multiple IVF cycles.
Right.
And just feel discouraged and hopeless.
Yeah, it can be a very difficult journey.
So what was different about their approach in those cases?
Well, again, they took a step back and looked at the bigger picture.
Okay.
They helped couples manage their stress levels, make healthy lifestyle changes.
Okay.
They used acupuncture and herbal medicine to support their reproductive systems.
So it seems like recognizing and addressing stress is a really key element.
Absolutely. Stress can really impact our fertility in so many ways.
Yeah.
And they really emphasize creating that calm, supportive environment for conception to occur.
These success stories are really inspiring.
They are.
They really highlight the potential of integrative approaches.
Yeah, and it's important to remember, these are just a few examples.
Right.
They've helped thousands of couples achieve their dreams of parenthood.
That's great.
Often in cases where conventional treatments alone had failed.
Well, this has been really insightful. We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the science behind IVF to the complexities of implantation failure and the potential of these integrative approaches. We'll be right back to wrap things up with some key takeaways and some final thoughts. Okay, so we've really, gone deep on this whole topic of IVF and implantation failures. I think what really stands out to me is that it's about so much more than just the embryo.
Absolutely.
It's about creating that fertile foundation, addressing everything from sperm health and that endometrial receptivity to lingering inflammation.
Yeah.
Even the emotional well-being of both partners.
It's about the whole person.
It is.
Not just the parts.
It's like we've been zooming in on all the intricate details, and now we're pulling back to see the whole picture.
That's a great way to put it.
And the Berkley Center's approach, as we've learned, is all about understanding that bigger picture.
Yeah.
And using both Western medicine and these ancient healing practices to address all those aspects of reproductive health.
Exactly.
And they have these amazing success stories to show for it. Couples conceiving naturally after years of struggling.
It's amazing.
Women in their 40s conceiving with their own eggs after being told they needed donor eggs.
Incredible.
And couples finding success after multiple failed IVF cycles.
It's really inspiring.
It is. It's truly inspiring. And I think it really highlights the power of personalized medicine.
Yeah.
Moving away from that one-size-fits-all approach.
Absolutely.
Recognizing each couple's unique journey.
Everyone's different.
They are.
And their path to parenthood is going to be different.
Yeah. And it's about empowering patients with knowledge, with support, and with options.
Yeah, giving them the tools they need.
So that they can feel confident and informed throughout their journey.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a powerful message for anyone listening who might be feeling lost or discouraged.
Yeah, don't give up hope.
There's still hope.
There is.
And what's remarkable about their approach is this commitment to collaboration.
Yes.
They work hand in hand with reproductive endocrinologists, ensuring that everyone is on the same page and providing the most comprehensive care.
That's so important.
It is.
That communication and collaboration.
It's a beautiful blend.
It is.
Of cutting-edge science and ancient wisdom.
Yeah.
All working together to help couples achieve their dreams.
It's a beautiful thing.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
I would just encourage everyone listening to think about your own individual circumstances, and ask yourself, could exploring these integrative options unlock some potential solutions for you?
That's such a powerful question.
Yeah.
It invites us to really step outside the box of conventional thinking and consider all the possibilities.
Exactly. And, there's no shame in seeking support.
Right.
And exploring all the options that are out there.
And the Berkley Center, even for those outside of New York City, offers phone consultations.
Yeah, they do.
So they're really dedicated to helping couples no matter where they are in their journey.
Absolutely.
Well, on that hopeful note,
we'll
wrap up this deep dive.
Right.
Wishing you all the best on your path to parenthood.
Yes. Best of luck, everyone.
Until next time.